First of all, what's the state on the ground in Venezuela right now? Do you fear for your safety? You're in hiding, I understand, right?
Yes, I've been in hiding for over a year just because after the elections, Maduro accused us, everybody involved in the election, which we won by a landslide, as you said, of terrorism. So he has put over 2,000 people in prison. Over 800 are still in prison. 44 people disappeared. We don't know where they are. Children, women that have been tortured, and they are looking for me. But as you say, things are moving really fast in Venezuela. There's a great of excitement right now and hope that finally we will end this era of destruction, violence, and socialism that has brought so much misery to our country.
So let's talk about what's going on right now, I guess, with the United States and Venezuela. It's interesting. Growing up, there's a cultural background in the U.S. where the left kind of controls a lot of our media, and they told us don't do anything in South America, stay away, don't fight the communists. And I kind of almost believed that as a kid because that's what we were all told. And then I realized, wait a second, maybe it's not good for this part to be run by communists because I'm watching Venezuela and I hear Hezbollah is operating there. I hear there's cartels operating out of there. I hear there's all sorts of bad things to the United States that come when the bad guys take over when they do bad things there. And so I know President Trump recently has taken some very strong actions. He actually put a $50 million bounty on Maduro himself, which is high. Osama bin Laden was only 25 million. This is a very big bounty on Maduro. He's designating him as an international drug trafficker. He's designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Tell us what's happening right now.
Well, this is unique. This is totally unprecedented. Venezuela is today the criminal hub of the Americas for over 26 years. First Chavez and then Maduro turned Venezuela into a safe haven for all the enemies of the West democracies and the United States to operate freely and to join efforts, not only to destroy our country that has huge natural resources, endowments, as you know very well, but to create a hub for operations. For instance, Venezuela has turned into a satellite of the Iranian regime, just hours away from Florida. And the Iranian regime has production, a facility that products drones, military drones, attack drones in Venezuela. It's the
Wow.
only country in the region. Not only that, Maduro has promoted criminal structures and gangs such as the Tren de Aragua that operates from Canada to Argentina, but the head of the Tren de Aragua is Maduro. And it's the same with the drug cartels. I mean, it is something that it's hard to understand. It's not like other countries that fight the cartels or that might have some business with the cartels. In Venezuela, the reality is that the cartel is in power. The head of the cartel, whom is Maduro, is also the head of the tyranny that it has been in power for so many years.
How extensive are these cartel operations? Are these killing American citizens? Like, what is the drug cartel doing? Where are they operating?
Well, the DEA estimates that 24% of cocaine that it's deal worldwide goes through Venezuela. Most of it is produced in Colombia, but Venezuela is starting to have high-tech labs operating in conjunction with these with all the other cartels and the Colombian guerrilla. But imagine having all the infrastructure of a state, the financial system, ports, airport, vessels, military, used to promote these illegal activities, and it's millions and millions and millions of cocaine that reach the United States every year. And who benefits from those deals is Maduro and his entourage.
And tell us about how they keep up. So they make a lot of money from cocaine. I know Venezuela was a very, very wealthy country, obviously had a lot of oil wealth. I know earlier we revoked Chevron's ability to export oil. I think we reinstated it more recently. And so I'm confused on the policy here. Like why would we allow or not allow oil companies to work there? I guess we probably don't want Chinese oil companies working there, so we'd probably rather it's ours than them. But obviously we don't want these guys getting money. Like how should we be thinking about the policy here?
Let us be very, very clear here. Venezuela used to be the richest country in the region. Today, we are poorer than Haiti.
Wow.
That's the legacy of socialism and communism and crime. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world, the eighth in natural gas, fifth in gold. I mean, we have minerals. Venezuela is unique in terms of the natural endowments and the opportunity, the potential. And that's why this regime wanted to take control. And the resources they get, they don't go for the people, for schools or hospitals or security. It's corruption and promoting destabilization of the region, mainly the United States. So we need to dismantle this criminal structure and need to understand that every dollar that Maduro gets goes to repression, violence, and destabilization.
Mm-hmm.
But we will turn, Joe, Venezuela from the criminal hub of the Americas into the energy hub of the Americas. We can be producing millions of barrels of oil a day. We will do that, and American companies will have the biggest opportunity in a lifetime, taking advantage of a Venezuela that's going to have rule of law, that it's going to have sensible legal frameworks, and we will have protection for international investment and private property.